Welcome to another meeting of the Lorain County Commissioners, broadcast exclusively on your Lorain County Community College education station. The Lorain County Commissioners cordially invite you to see the meetings live and in person every Thursday morning. The meetings are located in the Lorain County Administration Building, located at 226 Middle Avenue in downtown Elyria.
Good morning. Would you please stand to pledge allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk.
Under appointments, there are several. There will be 6 to chairing starting at 10:15 to 11:30 for Brownhelm Creek and Brownhelm Township, Kellner Ditch and LaGrange, McConnell Perkins Ditch in Wellington, Miller Ditch in Wellington, Cole Ditch in Pittsfield, and Zerker Nye Ditch in Henrietta. Under resolutions, number 1, Job and Family Services bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Investments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye. Just for a point of information, we've already supplemented the jail facility, $1.4 million to date. And that's just for your information.
Advances, repayments.
There was one advance. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye. I'm sorry, go ahead.
There would be the one advance. I met with each commissioner,
Right.
so we would
Yeah,
have the one advance
We
to...
just said that.
Sorry, I misheard. Sorry.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye. Sorry, Joe. I just did that.
Oh, he's going to pick on you today. I can see it coming.
I got the crosshairs.
I know my voice is leaving me in and out here. It's going.
Requisitions.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye, with the exception of 977 to 980. And I
Travel-
just feel instead of paying the consultants that we could really use that money towards the Human Resource Department.
Travel expenses.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary for employees within jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
Are we going to have?
Yes, Commissioners, I'd like to request an executive session for the express purpose of discussing new hires, which is allowable under the Sunshine Law.
Under Commissioners, number 10, reject all bids received for bid package 12A, courtroom benches for Lorain County Justice Center. 2 bids were received, with one being unresponsive and the other overestimate.
Also,
Second.
One or the
Have
other.
your choice.
Discussion.
Just a question. I see that Bobos was one of the bidders, and I should have asked you this separately, but aren't they on the state purchasing?
They're on the state purchasing for various products, but
Not this.
But not this.
Thank
And
you.
we were actually hoping that a local company over in Lorain that does woodcraft of this nature would have a successful bid. Bobel's bid it as a vendor, which is good, and they're a local vendor, but there's also local craftsmen here over at, I think it's D3 over in Lorain that actually make these kind of products, and they also bid, but they were still outside the parameters of the 10%. So when we bid it again, hopefully they can sharpen their pencil and we'll get a local vendor on this issue.
Thank you.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
11, award various contracts for the Phase 2 construction of Lorain County Justice Center. 1, bid package 13A, security equipment to South Shore Electric in Elyria, Ohio. Base bid is $742,517. Bid package 2A for landscape and irrigation is Puska's Landscape, Lorain, Ohio. Base bid is $48,600 with an alternate of $9,000 for a total of $57,600. Issue notice to proceed letters for both contracts effective on or before July 7th and complete contracts on or before June 24, 2004. Authorize county administrator to notify county auditors to release retainage at the completion of said project.
So moved.
Second. Jim, I have a question. The alternate, what does that mean? That $9,000.
Puskas.
I don't have the paperwork. I mean, we had bid the landscaping and various component, and they recommended choosing one of the alternates. It was underneath the budgeted amount, so we were able to select the alternate. I'm not sure if Ms. Davis, if she
Yes.
may have. Karen, you have recall of that, which alternate we selected?
It's the fence,
Oh,
the black fence that would go around the
the
parking
one we
lot.
promised design review, right?
Yes, that's
Okay,
it.
thanks.
No problem.
When we went through design review with the city, we indicated them that we would use a fence similar to what they had on their city hall. It's the mayor likes that kind of fence, and so does design review, and it will aesthetically make the area more pleasing.
I think they're kind of tying that into everything that's going downtown. I see Burger King has it too.
They
Any
do.
new construction or remodeling.
Uh,
So this is the fence.
Yes, and I would tell you that the entire bid for landscaping is local. It's another one of our initiatives to keep business here, so we're very pleased with that. And the security package, I believe we're hoping that one of our local companies is going to be partnering on that package, right?
I believe South Shore Electric is the successful bidder,
Right.
and they are a local company,
Okay.
and they are going to partner, hopefully, with another local vendor to provide a UPS system.
And the UPS will be that company out in Elyria by the airport, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Very good.
So we're really actively shopping here. Thanks.
What
Thank
about,
you.
wasn't the original bid though lower than this? And we had to cancel it and re-vote? Isn't that
Uh,
what happened
For the
like 6
landscape.
months ago?
Well,
What's that?
the landscaping one was the one where we didn't think anybody understood the bid.
Right, the bid was actually too low.
Mhm.
No,
And-
that's why I didn't think they understood the bid. The bid came in too low. There was other bids that were pretty close to this. Were the same people that bid? How many people bid on the second time for this landscaping?
There were, I believe, 3 bidders for landscaping.
How much were there the first time?
About 3 bidders.
Was there?
Yeah. Because it was 100% local, there was only local companies that bid.
Who won it the first time?
It was Puskas.
And it was too low?
Pardon me?
And it was too low, so we're bidding it again and we're coming back at, what was the original bid? Was it 49 or 41 or something?
It was in the 20s.
Or was it
Yeah.
27?
The-
Maybe it was 27 or something.
Right.
Okay.
The issue was that we felt that there were elements of the package that weren't clearly understood. Now, while we could have taken the low bid, that just would have led us down a road of change orders and problems and misunderstandings on the job site. I know it sounds somewhat ironic that we rejected them because they were too low, but it was because upon speaking to the bidders, we didn't think they had a clear understanding of what they bid on, and it was a complicated package.
Exactly.
And it was in the best interest that we rejected and rebid it.
They would have just came back with change orders anyway, which could have amounted to more than what we have here.
It's a possibility, Commissioner, yes.
Which is what we're getting now though on the other ones, correct? Or no, it's more of a time issue with the other ones, right?
Whatever.
We are actively working towards successful outcome on the Justice Center.
Boy, I wonder who the politician here now is.
He's got his big stick out.
Well, your question was not specific. If you have a specific question, I
Try
have
not
a
to.
specific answer.
He's learning from you.
Well, I'm just looking for Paul. I'll go get the specifics, but I'd rather not. Do you have is the bid packages in here? Do we have them?
No.
The resolution, what the 3 bids were?
I don't believe you have a recap sheet.
We didn't submit a recap for the board?
Not
But
that I'm
didn't
aware of.
I was trying to find out what the 3 numbers were.
I can
Might
This-
be.
run
this
over
is-
and get those for you.
This is not critical. We can hold it until
Sure.
next board. It's not a
It's
critical
up to you
element
guys.
right now.
I'm just asking, that's all.
Well, we're going to go into why don't we just hold it, and we'll get the information for you so you can be satisfied, and then we can vote on it later.
That's fine.
And get the plan.
It's
So
up to you
what's
guys.
the desire of the board? Would you like to hold it or?
I don't have any problem. If the commissioner has questions, I think we should answer them.
I was just asking what the other two bids were. That's
No,
all
I
did.
think you're entitled to that information.
Okay, we'll hold that.
Do we want to withdraw your bid? I mean,
No,
withdraw your
there's an
motion
active
second,
motion.
so-
No, we're holding
It's
vote
just-
on
Okay.
it. You can bring it up when we get back. Make that on your list, Teresa. I think it's going to be a long one today.
Under Community Development Department, number 12, amend resolution number 03362 adopted April 3rd, 2003, relating to Lorain County Building Code as follows. 1, the additional language incorporating by reference the International should be Plumbing Code, National Electric Code, and Lorain County Board of Health Plumbing Code as part of Lorain County Building Codes. 2, change of contractor bond amount from $5,000 to $25,000. 3, additional language regarding the Board of Appeals, and 4, general circulation and definitions in miscellaneous sections.
Madam Chair, I'd like to hear from Mr. Twining on these issues.
I was just going to ask Mr.
Thank you.
Twining if he had any
Thank
comments.
you very much.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Ron Twining, Twining, Community Development Director for the Board of Commissioners. I appreciate an opportunity. Rebecca, we guessed this morning, given the length of the agenda, she's going to be here at 1:15, so I may go on. No. She'll be here to help answer some of the questions. What we basically did, you approved this at the end of April as a resolution adopting the building codes for the township areas of Lorain County that want to join. Since that time, we have had opportunities to meet on several occasions with BIA members and some of the potential building code officials. Were trying to get that started. As you know, it was effective after June 1st. We don't want to start this program until we feel everything is proper and in place. And during those discussions and reviews, we found about 4 areas that we want just clarification. The first one, by reference, our original motion talked about the international plumbing codes. It talked about the national electrical codes and was mute on the issue of the health department plumbing codes. The health department is basically responsible for, in the township areas, the plumbing once it exits the building and goes to the septic tank or the aerator tank. We felt it was critical that we identify and remove any doubt that they still have jurisdiction for that once it leaves the building. Because it was by reference in our original motion on the plumbing codes and the electrical codes, some people were saying to us that that wasn't strong enough. We should strengthen that language, so that's what we have done while talking with Mr. Innes to make sure that there is no doubt we are going to follow the International Plumbing Code and the National Electrical Code. While talking with the BIA members at a meeting following the action of the board, we had originally tried to keep the contract bond down to a low amount, and they advised us that everybody in the business has this $25,000 bond amount, and $5,000 would be not enough to protect us. So they encouraged us to actually go with the industry standard, and so we're, with their suggestion, increasing it from $5,000 to $25,000. We did not. We worked back and forth on whether to have an appeals process in the building codes themselves. And when we asked for that passage, we had decided, based on a conversation we'd had with John Brandt at the state, that that was covered in the ORC. Since that time, we feel that while it's covered in the ORC, we probably ought to introduce that in our local resolution. So that's what that amendment's for, and it sets up that Board of Appeals so that it's a local appeals if we're implementing some building codes or interpreting a building code and the homeowner or the builder feels that that's not a correct interpretation. They can appeal this to the local jurisdiction, and there was some question whether it would be appealed locally or to the state level. And then the issue of the footprint of the building is, if the footprint is changing, seemed to be confusing to some people. And so addition didn't work, and so what we've done is added a definition, some definitions to give clarity so that there's no doubt what it is that these building codes are going to cover. And before we get all of this started and in place, we are trying to make those adjustments. And as far as we know, these are the last of the amendments that we think we need to make or suggest the commissioners make to the building codes. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and I've talked long enough. Rebecca is here.
I think you covered it real well.
Madam Chair, I do have a question. Ron, the Board of Appeals process then will be locally?
Yes.
Thank you.
Who's going to be on the board?
Board's appointed. Right. I'll look to Rebecca.
The Board of Commissioners will appoint members. We have laid out that members should be in the various trades so that you would have someone who is a plumber or plumbing inspector, someone who's in the electrical trade, general contracting trade, and that is all laid out in the documentation on Board of Appeals. We'd also be looking to have an architect on there so that we'd have somebody that could review plans, but those folks would in fact be appointed by the Board of Commissioners.
Is that how the state does it?
This is the way that it's done in Wood County and Medina County.
Okay.
The state has their own Board of Appeals set up that's exactly for commercial. It's not for residential.
Okay. But do they have people in the business
Yes.
on the board? Okay.
I couldn't tell you exactly what
Well,
all
that's
the
okay.
trades are
As
that
long
they
as it's
have.
similar.
Rebecca, do you think it would be hard, or Ron, do you think it would be hard to get an architect to sit on that board? Because if they received any of the jobs, I think they wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't be able to receive any jobs.
No, I think they just have to abstain from voting or...
No,
If-
they couldn't get jobs.
If there would be an appeal on a specific architect's design and that architect sat on that Board of Appeals, I'm sure they would have to abstain from making any decision. It's more a Board of Appeals that will interpret, that will be available to answer any questions that may come up from the inspector or the building official's interpretation of the building codes themselves.
I don't know, Jerry, do you understand what I'm asking? Would they be able to be the architect for any of this construction?
Well, it wouldn't automatically eliminate them from every project. That's kind of a frequent thing you run into in the cities also. It would have to be something where you would look to see if that particular architect had a number of projects that ended up coming before the code, and if it happened on such a frequency, then you might look at that. But I don't think there's just an automatic conflict there, because there might be one project that this particular architect has before the board. And it's a legitimate concern. It might...
Not only architects, you got plumbers, electricians, everybody else is going to be
Right.
somehow...
Yeah, true.
Everybody's going to be, it's
Yeah.
one of those areas where,
You're gonna know
the
when.
very people that you need for the expertise to look at those things are necessarily going to be people in the industry.
So-
They all potentially will be difficult to fill. The architect, there are architects in the county that don't specialize in residential development. It doesn't mean they're not trained to do that. It doesn't mean that some of their business is not in residential, but there are architects that are in the county that do more of a commercial or retail architectural business that would be familiar with residential. It's not going to be easy to fill, but just as you've said, there are some of the plumbing and electrical there that are not necessarily going to be easy to fill, or a conflict will arise periodically. And when I said local, I was thinking county jurisdiction. I wasn't meaning Columbia Township local or Eaton Township local. I'm talking local from the county, so that broadens the horizon a little bit. And Rebecca has whispered in my ear she has some clarification on one of the earlier questions too.
No, I simply went to page 24 in the document that I believe the commissioners got a copy of. The board would actually consist of 5 members, and it could be engineer or architect. It wouldn't necessarily have to be an architect, but it could be an engineer or an architect. And then there would also be ex officio members, which would include the commissioner, a member of the county engineering department, a member of the county health department, a member of the community development department, and 2 member representatives of participating townships, and those would be ex officio members.
Now, who are they? They're the board?
They would be ex officio members of the Board of Appeals.
Okay.
So
Yes.
5 members of the
Yeah.
Board of Appeals, and then you would have ex officio members as well.
So you have 7 plus the 5. That's what you just...
Yes.
Okay, and the 5, since you list those 7 up, who are the 5 then?
The 5 would be from each of the following disciplines: building construction, engineer or architect, plumbing, electrical, and fire protection.
That's 4. What's the 5th one?
You'd have building construction,
Yeah.
engineer or architect, plumbing, electrical, and fire protection. So that would be 5.
Wouldn't you think it'd be appropriate to have maybe the person in charge at the BIA who oversees every builder in this county be on this board too? Or no?
They could probably be representative for the building construction.
Okay. I just think the BIA should be involved somehow.
That
So
might make sense to appoint someone.
Since we're voting, I mean, that's why I mean, it sounds like we're voting on this board as we support this resolution, we're supporting what
Yes.
That's correct.
that is.
And you could make that not a 5-member board, you can make it 6. We left it at 5 merely because
Well, can we just add a
it's
6?
odd number.
and
You
have
can
a-
add a 6th, or you can,
Just-
after time, if we find it difficult to fill one of those trades or something, you can make, 2 of those 3. But for right now, I would recommend just adding the 6th.
I doubt. I think you won't have any problems. This will be nice on someone's resume. So, I mean, I would like to see the BIA involved, since the BIA represents, like 20,000 of their.
Right.
This is
Well,
what
we
they
can,
want.
yeah, we
so.
can do that when we appoint them.
No, I'd rather have. If we're voting on the Board of Appeals today, that's what we're doing. We're voting on what they just listed off, which is.
Yeah, it would be
Which is
section...
12. We're talking about 12 members right now. Why don't we make it 13 with the BIA being added as one of the 5? Instead of 5, have that as 6.
Okay.
Would you, okay. So it's section 6, establishment A on page 24, and we would change that to 6 members and add a member of the BIA. Is that?
Change it to 6? I
Right.
think you need an uneven number,
We do, because there's 7.
voting purposes.
There's 7, so we have a total of 12 right now. They're talking about...
The ex officio members make it.
The ex officio do not vote.
No.
Right, they don't vote.
Okay, then we add the BIA and we add the building trades, the union. That makes it 7.
That would be fine. If it's 6 as a full board, it doesn't matter, because there's no guarantee you're always going to have, every member there either. Just, we typically like to keep it an odd number, so it's whatever direction the commissioners want to go.
Run that list by me again, would you, Rebecca?
The 5 voting
The
members.
5. Just change one of those.
No,
Building construction,
need that.
engineer or architect, plumbing, electrical, fire protection.
My question would be, why would not the BIA fit the criteria for building construction?
Right.
They could, exactly.
I think they would could fill that slot easily through the building construction.
I know.
Well, who would you anticipate would be building construction if it were not the BIA?
Oh, there's way too many lists, and I'm not giving anybody free commercials.
I didn't mean
And then I'll be
specifically.
playing favorites. So
No, I didn't mean specifically, but I
there's
mean...
a lot of people that could be in building.
Yes, but they have to get an appointment from this board.
Correct.
So would you want to change the building construction to the BIA? A member of the BIA?
I'd rather take it from 5 to 6 or 6 to 7.
I'm sorry.
I'd rather just add the BIA, and if you want, we can add the building trades. What's it? Mike Sherman could probably be on it, and you could have, is it Terry Bennett, who's the current president for the BIA? I think he's the sitting president.
Are we filling these spots today, too?
No, we're not. We're just, I thought
Okay.
if this is the moment that we're voting, and I want to make sure I'm voting on it, I'm happy with the way the board looks. I'm not happy with the way the board looks, so. I just, if you don't want to, I don't think we should change any of those. I think we should just add 2 more. And include the groups that are going to be represented and being watched.
And if you want, we could add 2 members, one being someone representing the association, the BIA itself, and then a member from the building industry.
Right.
So it could be a contractor.
Yeah, we do that. That makes it
We already
7.
have that in
Yeah.
the first one.
You have structural, and that can be everything from a contractor that does structural to a certified person doing structural inspections, making sure that the wall studs are done properly, the foundations are proper. You're just adding clarity to the that there will be somebody in the building industry that is the another member of that appeals board.
I think that's a decision that we'll make when we appoint someone in
Right.
the building construction category. I don't think we have to make any changes.
Okay.
5 is good. What do you
Well,
feel,
we
Betty?
have 3 different opinions here. You say
Okay.
5 is good, David says 6, he'll go with 7 to include the building trades. And then you offered something different, so I'd just like to see it move forward. I'll move that we approve the amended resolution to include a provision in section 6A that the board have 7 members and the 6th member be a representative of the Building Industries Association and the 7th member be a representative of the building trades.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
Yes?
Oh, I'll second.
Further discussion?
Just a note, item 4, the second word should be clarification, not circulation.
General clarification.
Number 4.
Thank you.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Number 13, award various contracts to provide home repair assistance to be paid from fiscal year 2002, CDBG Formula 12602-2501-450422. 1, Father and Son, Sheffield Township, in the amount of $4,590 for septic replacement assistance for Donna Wilmouth, 41793 Blanche Avenue, Elyria Township. 1 bid was received, being the most responsive.
Teresa, could I just stop you there? I have a question. Is that not Blanche Avenue? And if it's Blanche Avenue, is it not in Carlisle Township as opposed to Elyria Township? I'm sorry.
We're looking at the first one, Donna?
Yes.
Wilmoth?
Yes.
Yes, I have 41795 Blanche Avenue, Elyria Township.
9-5.
It says 9-3 here. And Blanche Avenue is not in Elyria Township. It's in Carlisle.
Yeah, not the resolution, but the memo that was sent to the county administrator from Miss Glenn says that it's in Elyria Township.
I know that. I'm suggesting that that's not correct.
Why don't we simply hold that while we have another issue on hold, and we'll
All right.
verify it.
Well,
Very
I
simple.
think we need to have the proper location, and I
Okay.
believe that that's incorrect.
We'll get that clarified.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Clerk?
Hold. Number 14, approve and enter into trust agreement between Lorain County Board of Commissioners and Lorain National Bank for the purpose of administering the trust account for Lorain County Recycling Revolving Loan Fund. This recycling revolving loan fund was established by Resolution 02137 on February 14, 2002. The objective is to promote recycling businesses' opportunity, provide additional markets for recycled materials, retain or create recycling-related jobs, and to increase manufacturing capacity for recyclable materials in Lorain County. Lorain County Solid Waste will provide $250,000 in the year 2002, $100,000 in 2003, and $50,000 in years 2004, 2005, and 2006, for a total of $500,000 from the plan implementation account, and the Community Development Department will administer the RRLF program.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
No.
Jim, would you like to comment a little bit about this, since it's been a long time in the works?
Well, what we hope to do is provide low-interest loans to businesses that wish to green their buildings a bit. Want to use recycled materials. It's I think the program will be slow to start because of the environment that we find ourselves in low-cost funding on loans, and that wasn't available a few years ago. But the issue will come down to being able to keep materials from various landfills and to recycle, reuse those materials in business expansion. And Mr. Billman's here, and he's been working on that, and Mr. Twining, who I think was one of the original crafters of this issue. Plus, I'd like to give a little credit to the city of Lorain a couple of years ago, who actually brought the idea to the forefront that we worked on from the Lorain City Community Development. Ron, you want to say anything else about it?
You've covered it very well. I mean, that's what it is, and this is just simply the mechanism that we're putting in place before any money is put on account with the trust account. We've worked with Dan to set this up, and this is an agreement that we'll have with Lorain National Bank to administer these funds for the solid waste department, and we'll help them administer them.
Thank you. I'd just like to say that when I said this has been a long time in the making, as a point of information, the chair of the Board of Commissioners is a member of the Solid Waste Policy Advisory Committee each year. And this year, Commissioner Vasey is the chair, so she's a member. So this program was originally talked about last year when I was the chairperson and a member of the Solid Waste Policy Advisory Committee. And I think it's an innovative way for us to try to move Lorain County a little bit forward. So I'm strongly in support of this. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Number 15, authorized as disbursement of the semi-annual loan repayments in the amount of $32,406.37, made payable every January 1st and July 1st to the Ohio Water Development Authority from account 24301-2501-480301 for coastal erosion loans made to Lorain County residents for the construction of coastal erosion barriers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Under 16, under Job and Family Services, approve and enter into various contracts between Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services effective July 1st, 2003 through June 30th, 2004. 1. Lorain County Children and Families Council for fiscal year 2004 for the early start component of the Help Me Grow in the amount not to exceed $969,224. Number 2, Lorain County Child Support Enforcement Agency and Lorain County Domestic Relations Court to provide voluntary mediation services to unwed and divorced parents and parent education seminars which encourage non-custodial parent to support their children in the amount not to exceed $30,297.12.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Approve and enter into purchase of service contracts between Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services effective July 1st, 2003 through June 30th, 2004. 1. Common Ground Oberlin for the delivery of a self-exploration, assets discovery, and environmental education program in the amount not to exceed $30,551.73. 2. To Goodwill Industries of Lorain County, Inc. to provide education and training opportunities to eligible LWF recipients in the amount not to exceed $90,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Approve and enter into various contracts between Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services effective July 1st, 2003 through June 30th, 2004 for fiscal year 2004. 1. Workforce Development Agency for WIA program and services in the amount not to exceed $2,697,941. And 2. Children and Families Council for administrative services in the amount not to exceed $10,000.
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Mr. Cordes, do you want to comment on this? It's an annual thing, I know, but I still think that a little update might help.
Well, Mr. Ogle's here. I can defer to Mr. Ogle with regard to this issue. We got a lot of good changes going on there, especially in the Youth Council, and I think Bill would like an opportunity to speak to that. So I do appreciate you
Well, I start my comments through you. You can channel them out any way you wish.
I do appreciate that. Bill, would you like to?
Thank you, Bill Ogle, Lorain County Workforce Development Agency. This is just our annual allocation from the Department of Labor to operate the Workforce Investment Act program, which funds our one stop that we have out on Northridge Road and all our youth activities.
And I think later on the agenda, we have some additional...
Yes, later on the
contracts.
agenda, we have some other legislation and contracts that we're going to
And
be
this also
hopefully approving.
includes a substantial increase over last year.
Substantial, about $800,000.
I informed the board that a couple weeks ago that we had received quite a bit more money, and I want to congratulate Bill for the hard work he's doing out there and for bringing additional resources home to Lorain County, and the good work of the one-stop vendor to the Workforce Institute. Things are really, really happening out there.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bill.
Madam Clerk?
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Approve and enter into various agreements between Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services. 1, an agreement with Talks Corporation, the work number to provide Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services staff with verification of clients, employment, and wages at a cost of $10,800 annually for the next 2 years beginning July 1st, 2003, and the Social Security number search fee will again be waived. Obtaining verifications is essential to provide information needed before clients can receive services from the agency to be paid from Internet Services 20501-0903-450129. And 2, Advanced Computer Connections, Inc., Norwalk, Ohio, for the Computer Programming and Training Project for the provisions of Access Data Programming Services in the amount not to exceed $19,220, effective July 1st, 2003 through June 30th, 2004. This is the one additional year at the agreement of both parties and the availability of funds allowed in the original contract to be paid from Contract Service Code 20501-0903-450101.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Under Solid Waste Management District, authorize Lorain County Solid Waste Management District to designate Saturday, July 26, 2003 as Lorain County Computer Recycling Day in Lorain County. The collection event will be conducted by the district using RET3 Job Corp, Cleveland, Ohio, as a primary contractor governed by the Memorandum of Understanding. Altel Inc. has agreed to donate the use of their plant center, 560 Turnus Street, Elyria. $7,000 will be paid to various vendors for other expenses, and the advertising budget is in the amount of $9,460 as follows. Chronicle Telegram, $2,700. Morning Journal, $2,400. Adelphia Media, $460. WEOL Radio, $2,900. WOBL Radio, $600. And WJTV Radio, $400.
So move.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes. Dan, would you like to expound on this a little bit, please?
Good morning, Commissioners. Dan Billman, Lorain County Solid Waste Director. It's with pleasure this morning that I bring this program back to you. We had the first program last year. It was very successful, and we expect this year to be a bigger event than we had last year. We are going to change the people that we're dealing with, basically, as far as recycling the computers. There was some discussion about how the state was going to be able to handle this, and we used the state prison system last year, but because of funding issues, they may not be able to do it this year. But so we're changing over to, hopefully, RET3 Job Corp. Again, we're going to use prison labor for the actual removal of the computers and computer equipment from the cars, as we did last year. We're going to use a Boy Scout troop for traffic control. Altel, again, is going to let us utilize their property, which is it's a really nice setup because we have an overhead that we can be under in case it rains. Last year, we collected 4 trailer loads of computer equipment, and it was actually 47,000 tons of computers. And
Do you know
that's a
how many
lot.
computers that was, Dan?
Excuse
The
me?
number of computers?
I don't have how many computers that amounts to. I can probably refer that to Ken in a minute here, and he might know better. But as I said, we'd like to have the commissioners approve this morning utilizing the RET3 job corps. This morning we do have Ken Kovach here that would like to do a presentation on what RET3 job corps is all about. Ken?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
RE3T Job Corps is a non-profit, a 501c3 nonprofit group funded by various corporations and foundations. We are in partnership with some solid waste districts throughout the state of Ohio to do their collections for electronic waste. We pick up computers from all over the state, and we separate and sort them, and we refurbish what we can refurbish, and then we recycle what we can't refurbish. Nothing goes into landfills. Everything is reused or recycled, and we've established a training program to train people on these computers so we can shrink the digital divide. We will provide for your collection 6 of our staff members to properly sort and separate the equipment so that it's easier for us to process. And if the commissioners would like, we can rebuild computers and bring them back to your community and use them for the underprivileged or the digitally deprived people in this community.
Ken, as we were talking a little while ago, I asked if you would be willing to bring your business or a portion of your business into Lorain County, and you said that you would be interested in that. So, Dan, if you would please introduce him to Ron Twining after this meeting. And this money that we just approved over here for the recycling loans was something that I spearheaded and talked with Sandy Prudoff a couple of years ago, and then Sandy came back and talked with Ron and Dan about it. Now, this is the type of money that could be used for people like yourself to come into our county, put a portion of their business in our county. And another thing that I would like to suggest is when I was in another county, they had a program where they helped children, to teach children how to put computers together. They used old computers like this. Does your program do something like that?
We have a program in Cuyahoga County where the juvenile offenders are trained how to repair computers, and they go out in the community and retrain children in the community, and it works real well.
Yeah, it's a great program. And then what happened in this other program I was referring to is after the child either repairs this computer, or they even sometimes get new computers and have them put them together piece by piece, then that computer is given to that child. And there's a lot of families that can't afford, even seniors, children, they can't afford computers. This is a terrific program.
The key to giving computers away is to make sure that the people that are going to get the computers are trained by community centers or groups of workforce development people, or whoever you have in your community would be willing to do that. And after they attend 4 or 5 sessions, teaching them how to use the computer and how to replace memory and hard drives and things like that, then you give them the computer.
Yeah.
And it works well.
Yeah, it's a good program.
Thank you.
I really appreciate this. Thank you. And I really encourage you to come into Lorain County.
And
We would like to come into Lorain County. We need, I can tell you right now, we're looking for a 100,000 square foot building, a lot of docks, and we're going to be into recycling televisions, because in the year 2004, we're not going to be having, we won't be able to use our present systems, and something has to happen to that product.
Well, we're thinking about, as a board here, we're also talking about recycle reuse center, and I think this would all go hand in hand. This is exactly what we need in Lorain County.
RET3 would love to take your money.
But give it back, too.
Yeah,
Okay.
stand in line, man.
And
there
keep
any
our
other-
residents working
Stand
and
in line.
busy.
The,
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
Commissioners, there was 2 minor contractual changes that you need to be made aware of, because they have, you lined them out right there. Why don't you let the board know what they were?
Okay. Jim and I had discussed a clause in the MOU, and I talked to Ken on it. We lined it out. It's under the preparation and packaging and transportation line item in the document. It said that Lorain County Solid Waste Management District is responsible for ensuring that any proprietary data or software has been removed from any equipment transferred to RET3 Job Corp. We talked about it, and we didn't feel that we should be responsible for that. Ken has agreed to line that item out. So that will be done, and I've talked to Mr. Ennis, and that is perfectly acceptable. The other item was a schedule of no less than 8,000 net pounds of equipment on delivery. That'll be lined out also, so if we only get 4,000, 3,000, they'll still accept it. Okay?
See, that would be an advantage if you were in Lorain County. You wouldn't have to transport. Save cost.
That would be.
The Commissioners, I didn't feel that we had the ability to warranty whether there was any software proprietary data on the machines turned into us, and that we relinquish any responsibility for that. We're just a
Right.
pass-through.
I'd just like to explain to you how we wipe the hard drives. We use 2 government wipes. We wipe all the drives that come into our shops. Even though your people wipe them, we do it twice just to make sure that nothing is on the drives. If the drives are not working, they're completely disassembled and dismantled, and they're turned into scrap.
Well, what we do here is when we auction off our computers, and we remove the hard drives and run
Right.
a magnet over them.
Right.
I was more concerned with when people are bringing stuff from the community
Right.
or other businesses, that we wouldn't have any extended liabilities with regard to any potentiality of information left on those.
Everything will
hard
be wiped completely. We can guarantee that.
drives. Great.
You know, I see, excuse me, Jim, I see Mr. DiTilio here and Mr. Ogle, and Mr. DiTilio is from the Job and Family Service Department, Mr. Ogle from the Workforce Development Agency, and I can see all this working together, all these agencies and the Solid Waste Department, your department, working together with these computers, televisions, and I hope to see the white goods too eventually. I think we're going to get into that, Dan. That's your refrigerators and stoves, washers, dryers. I know Joe heard me talk about this before. Instead of going and buy new ones, maybe giving recycled ones to our people that really need them, all these appliances, and maybe we can do something with televisions and computers too.
We are working on that program
Yeah.
right now, and probably within the next couple of weeks, we'll be coming to you to show you that program also.
Commissioners, we also need to modify the resolution a bit to authorize the solid waste director to enter into the MOU. And he needs that authority by this resolution. Correct, Dan?
He didn't hear you?
Yes, we can do that. That's no problem. I have one written up if you'd like a copy of it, Jim.
No, that's all right. I just want to make sure that once it's executed, we don't have a problem with it.
Okay, thank you.
Comfortable with the way it is.
Okay.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
You know, we're
Okay,
running over
it's
time
10.
here. It's 10:15. We have a 10:15 hearing, and that's with Brownhelm Creek, Claus Road Ditch Hearing, Brownhelm Township. Anyone wishing to speak in regards to this issue, you know, is going to have to be sworn in. So even if you don't think you're going to speak now, And some question may come up. Please stand to be sworn in by Mr. Ennis.
Raise your right hand. Do each of you swear or affirm the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, that you shall answer under God or under penalty of the law of perjury?
Okay, Madam Clerk, would you read the information in regards to that ditch?
Brownhelm Creek, Claus Road Ditch Hearing. In accordance with Section 6131.63 of the Ohio Revised Code, notice is hereby given for a public hearing to consider placing the following ditch in Lorain County on permanent county maintenance. This ditch has been completed by Lorain County Engineer and Lorain Soil and Water Conservation District, and part of the agreement with the property owners was that this would be placed in county maintenance after construction. The Board of Commissioners, by resolution number 03391, adopted May 22nd, 2003, instructed the clerk to schedule the public hearing on Thursday, June 26, 2003, to consider placing this ditch in Lorain County on permanent county parcel. The publication of the ditch hearing was published in the Chronicle-Telegram on June 18, 2003, and letters were sent to property owners on June 10, 2003. The Brownhelm ditch had a total construction cost of $5,026.50. There are 19 property owners affected with 10 acres or less at a cost of $15, or over 10 acres would cost $1.50 per acre benefited.
Okay, Mr. Hamilton, I appreciate you coming off of vacation just to be here with us today. But I would like to turn the meeting over to you now.
I'm John Hamilton, Assistant County Engineer, and the 6 projects we're looking at today were funded through the Drainage Improvement Project that the Commissioners funded with $500,000 about 2 years ago, I think it was. And this particular project was surveyed, inspected, and designed by Soil Conservation Service. We're kind of jointly running these projects between our office and them. And we have Bob Pandy and Ted Glenn back there to help answer questions too. This project's in Brownhelm. It's off of Klaus Road, and the ditch cleaning was part of the Drainage Improvement Project. And then the township, the way I understand, is going to run a tile from Klaus Road to help solve a drainage problem that's been in existence there for a while. We've looked at it a couple times for the township and made some recommendations. And when this money became available, they wanted to use this money to clean a ditch, and then they'll pay for the tile. I guess just to open up to any questions, if there's anybody here that has questions on Brownhelm Creek.
I'm going to the area of my daughter. I'm representing my daughter who just bought a house out. What is this ditch precisely?
I have maps over there. It's on Klaus. On the east side of Klaus, back in behind the houses, there's a tile that runs back to it.
It's back of the houses on the east side,
Right.
and then there's a tile. Is that where you're talking about putting in a new tile in the township, perhaps, to carry that road over there? Is that?
Right. Yeah, the tile the end of it was buried, and it was too small, and didn't properly handle the water. The front yard's flooded there. So they cleaned the outlet ditch, and then the township's going to run the new tile in to get the water from the road to the ditch. Yeah. I don't think, they've looked into the tile, but I don't think they've constructed that yet, have they, Ted? So once that's put in, it'll get the water from the road back to the ditch.
I think it was the contract let on it, but I don't think anything's happened. That's the way I understand it.
I got a question for you. I'm wondering if it's follow the property lines between our property or if it's going to come into my property.
You're talking about the tile. I can't answer that for sure. We did draw up a couple of easements for the township that were supposed to approach the property owners.
They were supposed to get back to us with a map last year, and never did back in the fall.
We sent that to them. You probably should contact the trustees and
Last, walked the property with Abraham, he's saying the property south of me does not drain from, let's say, Middle Ridge down through, and he took a walk with me down the street. He agreed that water from up at the Highland was draining down through there, that those people should be on Bill 2.
It doesn't go clear to Middle Ridge, and I know that it goes.
But that water that does come from Middle Ridge, from the frontage, does drain past my property. And they should be on this bill with us.
Well, if you take a look at the map, you can see where the watershed line is.
Yeah, but if you walk the road, you'll see the elevation.
Well, the watershed line was taken off the elevation and has been walked several times by our office and Soil Conservation Service.
Okay, from here, all this water here still comes through here, because that water is not going down that way. It comes to here. That's right. So all this down here should be on with us. I need to know where this tile could actually come through our place. But I'd like to know. Yeah, but is he gonna come in here? I mean, because that ditch is way over here right now. So I wanna know if they're gonna come down this property line, or are they gonna come into me where I can't get through my property? Because my woods, yeah, but right now, the existing tile runs through those people's property. So, what he was just saying, they'll probably run that way, but we have not seen that yet, while you're gonna run your tile. It is the township trustees, part of the project, that tile is not part of this project. So what you're saying right now, theoretically, that tile will not come through my property because the existing tile doesn't come through here now. I'm saying it's the township trustees. Part of my house, bring it next to the one that
Shouldn't take them up to the podium. We don't even know that.
There is an easement that we put there in order to drain the aeration system across the street to.
See, when I walked that property with Abraham, he was stating that that tile was gonna come from my place though.
They can't go on private property without an easement if.
Okay, but I'm getting two stories here. One story is that they're gonna go through where the existing tile was, and now Abraham told me another story that it was gonna come through my property that's approximately 30 feet from the existing tile.
Did they approach you for an easement to do that?
Not that I know of.
If the, yeah, they'd have to have an easement in order to run it off on private
Because
property.
I actually walked in that field with Abraham. He told me where it was gonna go, and that was through our place.
This is for maintaining what's there now and what the future is the sector tile installed, is that correct?
Right. Yeah, this is for the ditch maintenance, and the trustees will be handling the tile, and if it's not going to existing easement, they'll have to obtain new easements.
Right. So if you get anything in your property until you get a use until it's okay by you. And I'd also be ready to talk to stuff like that.
Okay.
But you look into that other water coming down the street.
We've walked that several times, and that's where the watershed line that's on there came from. We'll check it again for you. But, I mean, we've been looking at this for probably 7, 8 years at least, since Wolf's moved in there.
Sir, what's your name?
Albert Batt,
How long have you been living in your house?
11 years.
Oh, okay. Because maybe I was wondering if they had an easement before you got there. You know, that's why when you signed, do you remember buying it?
Well, we actually, my wife is the 7th generation in that house.
Okay, so you guys would know if there's an easement on there then?
Right.
Okay. And as of you know, right now, there's no easement?
No.
Okay. And what you had a point, and I'm wondering if you could, that seems kind of valid. It sounds like we're cleaning this ditch at a cost, and you're dividing it out over 19 property owners. And it sounds like what Albert's saying is that there's more homes that are probably going to be affected, and maybe we should divide this out over more homes. Is that kind of where you were trying to go with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
because that was the main reason I stopped and talked with Abraham, and he agreed, but never got back with me since the fall. And if he is our trustee, he should have got back.
All right.
We've checked the watershed several times, dating back probably 7 or 8 years, and I think Bob and Ted also checked it. The first time we looked at it was our office, and
No, I think
that's where the map came from.
What you have here is if you guys checked it 7 or 8 times and they've had 7 generations of family there, we got a conflict. And if this is a conflict that sounds like could be is there a way do you think you can resolve this?
Well, see, I have a culvert that goes right through my drive.
Mm-hmm.
At the corner of the drive, you actually can see water coming out of that culvert, and it's a closed ditch. So where's that water coming in? If I'm the first one from that watershed. That's what I'm saying, all the water's coming before me.
We can look at it with them. That's fine.
I do have a question regarding this. This is a public hearing. What are we expected to do at the conclusion of the public hearing? Are we to approve these assessments? Is that the deal?
Yes,
Thank
approve the
you.
ditch be placed on permanent county maintenance.
Thank you, John.
And approve the list.
But the assessment, I feel uncomfortable voting an assessment if it sounds like more people should be involved in the assessment. It's almost like, do you have a doubt? I see a doubt here.
No, I don't have much doubt. It's been checked enough by our office and also Soil Conservation's office. I'd be happy to meet them out there and take a look at it, but
We could put this on
If we,
hold now, couldn't we?
either that or if we have to add additional, we can always do that. We can approve this and then add additional residents on later.
yeah, that sounds good to me. Instead of having another, tabled public hearing and making
Right.
people come back again.
And why hold up the cleaning of the one ditch?
Well, the ditch was already clean.
Yeah, this is an assessment.
Now they want to go ahead and put the other tile in.
No, the tile's a township issue. What
Yeah.
we're dealing with today is $5,000 has to be divided up between some people, correct?
Well, $5,000 is the total cost.
Right.
The maintenance fee is roughly about 5% of that. I think it came in a little bit less than 5%, well, a little bit more than 5%. We're collecting
5.4 cents,
$274.60 a year
Right.
to maintain it in the future, divided among those owners.
And the reason for this is because the Soil and Water Board, when they accepted this money, they went through several meetings and they decided the best way to spend this money was to clean these ditches, but once they were cleaned, to put them on permanent maintenance. That way, we're making a step forward instead of just having to come
Right.
back in a period of time and do it again. Is that correct, John?
That's correct,
Right.
yeah.
But it sounds like the issue at hand now, though, is we're talking about 19 homes here, or 19 property owners?
Yes.
It sounds like to me there's probably a lot more that should be involved in this.
Well, it's possible there's more. We'll check it out and see. In our opinion and the
How
Soil
many?
Conservation, in our opinion, Soil Conservation's opinion, the watershed map's correct as it is, but we'll check into it and see. But we're looking at collecting $274.60 a year to maintain it, keep it mowed, put rock channel protection in, whatever needs to be done. And that's not necessarily on every year. It goes on and off as work needs to be done in a ditch.
And that's just for these property owners. And if
Right.
others have to be added, then you would come back and we would do this process all over again and include them.
But I don't
That would
think-
be fine. We
Yeah,
can
but I don't
meet,
see you doing it. I see, because if it's going to be $274, instead of charging everybody $15, you just charge them $10, because you're adding 7 more people to the property. Is that right? Am I going down the right?
But I think the
Thought-
cost is still going to be the same in every
Well, yeah,
area.
the cost is $274, or $274. If you add 7 more homes, you're just going to divide 26 homes into 274 instead of, or are you going to have to continue, or do you have to continue cleaning the ditches all the way up there?
Yeah.
Right.
So have those
Plus,
ditches been
they're
cleaned?
Different size lots.
But have those ditches been cleaned on the 7 that you already know? Are they being
No.
maintained?
Actually.
'Cause maybe that's the issue.
That ditch is behind 3 homes.
Yeah.
And it's not being maintained.
No, this particular ditch that you're talking about is what's been done and taken care of in road. If there's 20 people on it, it's going to be 5 by 20.
Right.
10 people on it, it's going to be
Right.
5 by 10.
Right.
It has nothing to do with the other existing ditches. They're just the ones that these gentlemen were able to get on the program.
And clean. So we're just talking about the area that's been cleaned.
Correct.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Okay. So if we can't add the 7 homes because they're not part of the one that's already been cleaned, then,
Area,
correct?
Right.
Well, we feel, there's a drainage break there someplace where it drains south and it drains north. We feel we have that drainage break correct. And what he's saying is that he feels it goes further south and includes more people, which contributes more water to that same ditch.
Was that section cleaned though, John? That section that you're talking about that goes further?
Well, the ditch that was cleaned
I don't think so.
was, say, down here,
It's-
and the drainage divide is up on
Right.
Klaus Road, and we're saying the drainage divide is here, these people drain this way. He's saying it's actually down here.
Right.
And more people drain that way.
Ditch does not
The
even
ditch
touch
was,
the new properties that he's
yeah.
talking about.
No.
It only touches the properties that are. No, but my property does not touch that ditch either, but I'm paying for it. Your water does come into the ditch. And that's what I'm saying, it's the ditch. That's right.
Oh, okay.
It's
So he
just a
doesn't
matter
touch-
of what drains where is what he's.
So what we
he's
got is a
quoting.
definition of who is, where's the water coming from? You're saying it comes from point A, he's saying it comes from point B, and that's the issue. How do we fix that issue?
What's that?
How do we fix it, that issue of
We
defining?
we need to meet with him in the field and take a look at it in the field and determine where the actual grade break is, if our map's correct or if he's correct and there's more people draining into it.
Then what? I just want to have him here because it sounds like he's been waiting since last November for an answer. So let's just find out what the steps are. So you go out and you meet with him. You guys will discuss it, and at that point you'll let him know whether you're right or he's right, correct?
Yep.
And then at that point, what would he have to do if he disagreed or agreed? Or
He wouldn't have to do anything. We would submit it back to the
Yeah.
board to revise the maintenance list. If we were adding
Okay.
people on, I guess we'd have to have another public hearing,
Okay.
notify those additional people.
is that
If we're correct, then everything would be okay as it is.
okay? That's fine. It sounds like you're acceptable. That sounds good. Okay.
Jerry, do we have to have another public hearing, or could we continue this one for this one issue? I'm hoping that we're not going to have these.
I don't think so.
Continue,
Yes, we can.
unless we continue this for a set date.
Sounds like
We can approve this and then
Right.
just have another one on that other section of the
that's what it
ditch.
sounds like we'd have to do.
We could vote on this and then set another definite date for consideration of other issues.
See, I don't think we have to. I think what we do is we vote on this today. We're done. It sounds like as long as
Well, it's
he's
just
happy.
that you would have to re-advertise again.
No, I'm saying if we don't know if there is an issue or not. I mean, the engineer's office is saying no, he's saying yes. So all I'm doing is trying to open up some communication,
Right.
so that they can continue on as long as. And it seems like you're happy with that, correct? So if he's happy with that, then I think we can. I'll feel comfortable voting for this. And then if you have to come back and we have another public hearing, we have another public hearing.
Then we have to advertise again,
Yeah.
then there's expense involved in that. We could just continue this hearing for a month, or to
Well,
a set.
you could go ahead and
approve it.
vote, approve
Yeah.
this much of it,
Mhm.
and then say there are some other issues. Well, you added, well, now that I'm thinking about it, if you added new people, you'd have to advertise for those
Okay,
new
sure.
people anyway.
Very good.
Well, that's fine. I mean, that doesn't bother me, because we don't really know. I'd rather just move on as long as everyone's happy with the communication going back and forth, and as long as it's going forward. As long as he has to wait another 7 months. Okay,
Okay.
that's the only question I have.
Any other comments or questions in regards to the Brown Helm Creek? Sir, would you please come up to the podium, give your name?
That's a great Great idea.
Nobody else had to, but you have to, so.
Sorry.
Hi, I'm Dale Osborne, and the ditch itself goes through my backyard. I'm one of the 3 houses that has the actual ditch, no tile. What I was wondering was, as far as the maintenance to this ditch, if that just entails mowing it. My entire backyard is seeded with grass, and I mow it now. I mow everything that's there. I mean, everything I can get to. There's still water standing there, but once that water does dissipate, then I'll be able to mow that. So what I was just wondering is, can I just take care of it myself? Do I have to be on this plan as well, since I'm already mowing it?
Yeah, the maintenance includes mowing, dipping it out again if it needs to be dipped out, installing rock channel protection, whatever needs to be done to the ditch. There is a provision in there where your taxes can be reduced, your maintenance fee can be reduced if you perform work on it. It would have to be in conjunction with our office.
How would I do that? Because like I said, I'm mowing it now.
Probably just send us a letter saying that you mow your stretch of ditch, and that we'll have to figure out some sort of a cost for it. I think it's probably going to be more than your assessment. The assessment is
$15.
$15, yeah. So for a year's worth of mowing, we'll have to come up with some sort of a number to.
He's going to become an employee of the county engineer's office.
Because I wasn't really looking for money, just as long as I didn't have to.
But if we need to get in and dip it or something, there has to be money in the account to do
Oh,
that. If sediment gets in, it needs to be dipped out.
okay. So I just, would I see?
Send our office a letter.
Send your office a letter.
Okay, is there anyone else either opposing or in favor that would like to speak on the issue?
Say I'm in favor.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, I'd like to move on to the next
Oh,
one.
no, wait,
We have
Madam
to
Chair.
vote on
Should
Oh, we have to
act
vote on
each
each
one, correct?
individually.
I move for
Yes.
approval with the contingency that Mr. Hamilton and that, I'm sorry, sir, what was your
Faith,
name again?
Mr. Faith.
Albert Faith? Okay. Oh, but
Yeah, but we're talking about this one. Albert Faith.
Mr. Faith had the question. You did not, sir, did you? Okay. That further conversation be had with the county engineer's office and Mr. Faith.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
At 10:30 is now 10:40 something, 45. Kellner Ditch in LaGrange Township. In accordance with Section 6131.63 of the ORC, notice is hereby given for a public hearing to consider placing this ditch in Lorain County on permanent county maintenance. This ditch has been completed by Lorain County Engineer and Lorain Soil and Water Conservation District, and part of the agreement with the property owners was that this would be placed in county maintenance after construction. The Board of Commissioners, by Resolution Number 03391, adopted May 22, 2003, instructed the clerk to schedule the public hearing on Thursday, June 26, to consider placing this ditch in Lorain County on permanent county maintenance. The publication of the ditch hearing was published in the Chronicle Telegram on June 18, 2003, and letters were sent to property owners on June 10th. Kellner Ditch, LaGrange Township, with a total construction of $36,465.77. 10 property owners are affected with 10 acres or less at $30 and 10 acres or greater at a cost of $3 per acre benefiting.
John, would you like to just go into comments? Has everyone been sworn in, first of all, in regards to this ditch?
He's got to redo it on every one.
Oh, okay. Anyone wishing to speak in regards to this issue, please stand to be sworn in.
This is on the Kellner Ditch?
Kellner Ditch. Nobody's going to?
Okay.
You swear that, swear or affirm the statements you took us to the truth that you answer to God or under penalty of the law for.
I do.
Okay. John, do you want to talk about this, or do you want to just go into comments and questions?
The only difference with this one is it's on the east side of the range and right behind some school property where the schools, Keystone Schools, were going to build a high school. And Mr. Camp was the one that initiated the pooling agreement, and the school board, we have several meetings of the property owners before we proceed with and that the ditch was completed by Calvin Haynes Construction out of Wellington. I guess we just asked for approval of maintenance. Again, we're collecting about $600 a year to maintain that. It was a $36,000, $465 project to begin with.
Also move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion?
Is there anyone here that wants to comment on this? Township trustees, anybody? Okay, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
The McConnell-Perkins ditch in Wellington Township, in accordance with Section 6131.63 of the Ohio Revised Code. Notice is hereby given for a public hearing to consider placing this ditch in Lorain County on permanent county maintenance. This ditch has been completed by Lorain County Engineer and Lorain Soil and Water Conservation District, and part of the agreement with the property owners was that this would be placed in county maintenance after construction. The Board of Commissioners, by Resolution Number 03391, adopted May 22, 2003, instructed the clerk to schedule the public hearing on Thursday, June 26, to consider placing this ditch in Lorain County on permanent county maintenance. The publication of the ditch hearing was published in the Chronicle Telegram on June 18th, and letters were sent to property owners on June 10th. McConnell-Perkins Ditch, Wellington Township, with a total construction of $17,041.21. 17 property owners affected with 10 acres or less at a cost of $30, and 10 acres or greater at a cost of $3 per acre benefited.
Again, anyone wishing to speak in regards to this project, please stand to be sworn in.
Do each of you swear or affirm the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, that you shall answer under God or under penalty of the law first?
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hamilton?
This ditch was surveyed and designed and inspected by Soil Conservation Service, and I think Mr. McConnell initiated the pooling agreement on it. And I guess we'll just open it up for comments.
Yes, please.
My name is Dominic Uracy. I live in the northeast corner of the intersection of Quarry Road and Route 18. I live in an area that's lower than the area to the north, east, or south or west of me. My neighbor and I both had a water problem. We put in an 8-inch tile, 1,800 feet, and a 5-inch tile to take care of our water problem. We have no water at all goes into the McConnell ditch. The creek would have to raise about 30 feet for that to happen. So I don't know how the elevation is, but that none of my acreage or his acreage, he is also here, I don't want to speak for him, but none of my acreage is benefited at all by this ditch. Like I said, I've tiled the whole thing out. I got French drains all around my property, and it all goes out the 8-inch. So I'd like somebody to come down and check it over and bring your transit with you. And I got photographs if it'll help. But
Soil Conservation Service is a lot more familiar with this project than I am. But Ted, could you come up and address that maybe?
So all I know, it costs us about $7,000 to solve our problem. I hate to be paying for a ditch that I get nothing out of.
This is the contour map and shows the boundaries of the watershed.
Okay, right here, this elevation goes up right here. Goes down here, down here, down here, and our tile goes out back to this stream right here. It's 1,800 feet back in.
If you look along this line, 874, 871, 870, 870, 870, 869, you know, this is heading toward the ditch.
I know.
This is along the back of your property here.
But it
You
doesn't.
see that?
Yeah, I can see
874,
where that's at.
871, 870.
But this is where our water goes, right out to this ditch out here. This is all higher. There's no way I can get any water in this area.
This is 869. 869 through 868. You know, it'd have to go like that. 868. 867, 862, 866, you know, it'd be going like that.
Well, you can come down there and measure. I don't know how accurate your map is, but there's no way.
This is the map we had to go by,
Yeah,
and maybe...
I'm just saying there's
Our
no...
water goes right, there's two tiles right here, it goes right over, and it goes plumb over that river behind Mrs. Bartoli's property. The water don't run uphill.
Well, that's Dave Bertoli, Betty, it used to be Bertoli, it's now, it was Rucker, now it's Bertoli.
See,
We go right out.
when we connect these high points here, it looks like these are high points that feed all, this all feeds this way.
Well, I'd like for you to come down and check it out.
This water here runs from Bartol, runs into the same pipes we got going across here. We got an 8-inch and a 5-inch. Going back through that.
Rutherford, and your
There ain't no instrument in the world that can run uphill.
We'll have to verify our
Yeah, we can meet in there and take a look.
map.
Any other comments on the
Well,
McDonald?
John,
Was that resolved, John?
did that get resolved or what?
I think that's all the comments.
No, we didn't hear anything. You
Well-
guys had your little sidebar, so we didn't know what happened. So.
We'll meet them down there and check it out in the field again, like we will on the Brown Helm Creek, and see.
So how would we pass this then? I mean, would we pass it with the?
Can we approve
pass
it?
This, it becomes automatic. And
Jerry, can we approve it and then revise it at a later date?
Yeah, that can be done.
We won't be
I
adding
think,
people to it, we'll be changing their acreage.
I think the commissioners can remit it.
Okay, that's probably easier to do. Is there anybody else with a comment? Okay. How do
Okay,
we make the motion to
move to approve the maintenance agreement.
Okay, second.
Further discussion?
Basically, if they correct and they find out, you guys can come back to us and we'll just do a house cleaning measure and
We'll
delete that farm or
Yeah.
that property.
If we find it correct, we'll send you a letter with revised amounts on it.
Okay, that's okay with you, Mr. Yers? Is that?
Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Okay, we're with the Miller ditch hearing.
Not until
Wellington.
11 a.m.
Oh, we have
Oh,
5
we
minutes.
got
so hurry
5
up.
minutes?
Do you want me to do something else on the agenda here?
Yeah.
Well, number 21. Number 21, under Workforce Development Agency, approve and enter into a purchase of service contract to provide services to the WIB Youth Council and coordinate all youth programming activities in the amount not to exceed $42,303.80, effective July 1st, 2003 through June 30th, 2004.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Mr. Cordez wants to tell us that this is an amendment.
Well, it's not an amendment, it's some...
Yes, it is.
How so, Commissioner?
Well, we already approved this once, and now this is a different figure, so it's an amendment of sorts, or am I
Well, no,
misinformed?
this is a breakout, and this is a bit different with the Youth Council, and I see that Mr. Ogle has returned. I was tap dancing here, and I'd like him to explain some of the exciting changes going on with the Youth Council for just a moment. I know it's been a long meeting.
Not welcome.
Thanks, Jim.
Not at all.
I gather we're on the Workforce Development Agency. These proposals you see before you.
No, we're not.
We're
We're
not.
on item 21, which is the WIB Youth Council.
Oh, the WIB Youth Council. Okay, I'm sorry. We have employed an individual to assist us in the administration of our youth programming. And there are some changes hopefully to be made. One of the major changes is creating a one-stop development center specifically for youth. We have visited a couple sites, namely one in Norwalk, Ohio, that has it's showcased by the Department of Labor, serving youth. We have observed that, and we're going to make some changes in our program to modify it to bring it into compliance with what the laws calls for. And basically, that's what we're doing.
Have any further comments, Commissioner Blair?
Well, I guess I said I thought this was an amendment of something we had previously approved, and you said it wasn't, so I'm questioning what it is. Sorry. Number 21.
What number 21 is, it's not an amendment to a previous contract. The previous contract we had was through June 30th of this year. And this is a new contract from July 1st of this year through June 30th of next year.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. Are you satisfied?
Yes.
Okay. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Okay, 11 a.m. Miller Ditch hearing.
Okay, once again, anyone wishing to speak in regards to this project or have any questions, please stand to be sworn in.
Do each of you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, that you shall answer from God or understand the law?
Teresa, you might want to read this. Okay.
Miller Ditch, Wellington Township, in accordance with Section 6131.63 of the Ohio Revised Code, notice is hereby given a public hearing to consider placing the following ditch in Lorain County on permanent county maintenance. This ditch has been completed by Lorain County Engineer and Lorain Soil and Water Conservation District, and part of the agreement with the property owners was that this would be placed in county maintenance after construction. The Board of Commissioners, by Resolution Number 03391, adopted May 22, 2003, instructed the clerk to schedule the public hearing on Thursday, June 26, 2003, to consider placing this ditch in Lorain County on permanent county maintenance. The publication of the ditch hearing was published in the Chronicle Telegram on June 18, 2003, and letters were sent to the property owners on June 10, 2003. Miller Ditch, Wellington Township, with the total construction $19,934.09. 17 property owners are affected with 10 acres or less at $30 for Wellington and $20 for Bryan, and 10 acres or greater at a cost of $3 per benefited acre in Wellington and $2 per benefited acre in Brighton.
Okay, Mr. Hamilton.
This is another ditch that Soil Conservation Service surveyed and designed and inspected. It was, I think the pooling agreement was started by Mr. Boone. And, the ditch is entirely on the east side. It's pretty much the intersection of Corey and Peck-Wadsworth Road. Ditch is on the east side of Corey. That's why there's a difference in the assessment rate. All the work was done on the east side of Corey, so the Wellington Township people more directly benefit because the ditch is right there. So they were charged the $30 for the 10 acres or less. In Brighton, on the west side of Corey, was charged $20. The ditch isn't directly in their property. And then the over 10 acres was $3 per acre benefit and $2 in Brighton. And the total to be collected is $703.14, about 3.5% of the construction cost. And again, that'll be for mowing and installing a rock channel, and whatever needs to be done to the ditch, dipped out in the future.
Okay. Are there any questions? Sir? Would you please come up to the podium?
My name's Wayne Boone, and I'm the one that started this ditch to get it cleaned out. When I built my house in 1970, I went through the same process and had it cleaned out so I could build my house. And at that time, the people that owned on the west side of Quarry Road would not participate and pay any money. Well, it ended up the people on the east side of the road would end up paying for that ditch. Now we got, if it wasn't for the west side of the road, we wouldn't need that ditch through my property, which is about 800 feet that I maintain by hand. And this year already it's been needed to be maintained, and we're waiting for the county engineers to come out like it's promised, which they haven't arrived yet. But if it wasn't for the, like I say, the west side of the road draining through my property, we would need that. And they're getting their cost is going to be $20 per parcel under 10 acres and $2 for over 10 acres, which I think it should be opposite, because we're the one that takes all the grief and all the have all the problems. The people on the west side don't have anything to do with it besides drain it through our property. And I don't see where they're giving them a deduction. There's over 90 acres on the other side drain through my property. And I don't think it's quite right. There's some things that's got to be addressed yet that's not quite right. And I've talked to the boys from the ASC office, and I think they're going to take care of it with no problem. But we had a few problems. I'm satisfied with the water draining with this spring. The water drained out real well as a ditch itself. But the slope and stuff is hard to maintain. You got to go in with a weed eater, and you start doing 800 feet of weed eating on a ditch. It's not fun. So I'd like to you have to take under consideration the cost that Brighton Township is getting a deduction, which I don't think is fair. And myself, I think it should be the other way around.
How long is this going?
Drop it all down to, say, $2.50 for everybody when it comes to farming.
How long is this agreement going to be in place?
Pardon?
How long is this agreement going to be in place? I'm asking Mr. Hamilton.
It'll be permanent once it's placed under county maintenance.
Okay.
At this time, there is no maintenance on the ditch. It was just a one-shot construction deal using the county.
Then my next question is, okay, any acreage over 10 acres, there's a possibility that that could be developed in the near future? And if so, no?
It's all background. It's
Pardon?
all behind it. All the houses. Houses on Quarry Road, it's all behind the houses.
No, I'm saying anything over 10 acres or greater is the cost of $3. Okay?
No, per acre.
Okay, so that's the higher.
Right.
Okay.
So what he's saying is, why is Brighton getting it
Right.
at 2, why he's got to pay 3?
Right.
Right?
Right.
That's basically...
Yeah. And then like under 10 acres, they get it for $20. And on the east side, it's cost of the east side property owners $30.
What was the rationale behind that, John?
Reasoning was, I know he looks at the ditch as a pest probably, but if you have a house there and you need a drainage outlet, you can just run a tile right to the ditch. On the west side of the road, they have a culvert under the road, restricted access. They have no ditch over there, so they would have to go to the roadside ditch, to the culvert, and into the ditch. So the direct benefit we felt was to the people that had a ditch on their property. If they had a drainage problem, they could just run a tile to it, drain their property direct, rather than coming through somebody else's property, down the roadside ditch, under a culvert, and then into the ditch. So
I don't know about you guys. I kind of got...
regardless.
Yeah, I kind of got lost there, so I don't know about anybody else, but you kind of lost me, John. Say that again?
the ditch is on their property.
Correct.
On the east side.
But there's
They have direct access to drain their water.
Right.
If they have a drainage problem,
Right.
they can take a swale or they can put a tile in.
But that's not the issue. The issue is maintaining the ditch, correct?
No, the maintenance rate is based on benefit to the property.
How much water goes in?
So the $30 per lot under 10 acres and $20 per lot was our interpretation of what the benefit was to the property.
But isn't the benefit the water being drained?
Yeah, and we felt they had more direct drainage because they have their houses right next to the ditch. If they have a drainage problem, they just drain to the ditch.
So hence we're at the point where I got lost. So explain to me again how the people across the street.
On the west side, say you have a house on the west side of the
Right.
road, and you wanted to drain your property better. You don't have a direct access to the ditch. You have to go through a tile to the roadside ditch, through a culvert, and then out through the open ditch that's through his property. You're still getting rid of your water, but you don't have the access to the depth that he has. You don't have the direct access where it...
But you're still getting water off your property.
Yeah, that's true, but it's just a more direct access where somebody has the ditch on their property.
But wouldn't it be more expensive to have somebody retiling this every 10, 15 years? Wouldn't it be more expensive to redirect that water than just to have a big ditch in your front yard?
It'd be more expensive for the people on the west side of the road
That's what
if
I mean.
they had to get the roadside ditch deep in
Right.
order to tile their, get their house tiled to the roadside ditch and out. People have a ditch directly on their property, have direct access to it.
Oh, I understand that. I understand that. But it sounds like he's paying for having the bigger ditch and everybody else is using it. Is that kind of what your logic was, sir?
That's part of it, yes. The east side never did pay anything up until right now. And I've had that on my property for 33 years. And I maintained it myself, too. I mean, I never had, when we had it built back in the 1970, we never had the Lorain County engineers or the ASC office come out and maintain nothing. I mean, we dug it out ourselves and maintained it. And I think it'd be cheaper for us to do that than to have these guys involved in it now. It'd be just as cheap or probably save money. Because we're not getting any benefit. And if you'd pass this resolution right now, when would be the closest date you could maintain that ditch or take care of it?
Well, the money wouldn't be collected till the first of the year, so this money...
Well, this year would be gone then. We'd have weeds and trees.
Well, I was talking to Ted about that this morning. We could go in and probably mow it this year and just delay the billing until next year if it needs to be mowed.
Well, it needs mowed.
But right at this point, there's no money in the account to pay for any work. Everything that it was paid by the county was paid for the construction, but not maintenance.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else here that would like to speak in regards to this project?
What would be a happy medium on this one?
What's that?
Is there a happy medium on this one? Kind of batting 1,000 right now. I kind of make sure everybody's happy. I mean, it sounds like to me. It doesn't sound like to me we have to maintain the ditch. Is that what you're saying? Is that? I don't think he wants it maintained. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I don't want to maintain it if I don't have to, but I don't like weeds in the middle of my property.
Right.
He doesn't like
And
what?
if we're going to pay a fee, I want it maintained.
Right.
The county, general fund paid for construction, and Board of Supervisors required maintenance to be put on these in order to make that expenditure
Right.
when the money was given to them to be dispersed. And, so it doesn't get into the condition where it needs to be dipped out and $30-some thousand spent on it again. Well, 19,000.
How many people? I got stars by some names here. Are they the ones on the west side? Or how do you know which ones are getting the $2 and which ones are getting the $3?
We have this list under rate. There's the 30, the 3, the 20, and the 2. So you
Okay,
can see
so it says okay.
which ones are in Brighton.
Stars are trees.
What?
I did that for planning purposes.
Oh, from Ealing? Oh, I didn't know. So how many homes we got here?
There are 17 property owners.
But then it's all based on acres per owned, isn't it?
10 acres or less, or a flat fee of 30 or 20, and 10 acres or greater at a cost of $3 or $2 per benefited acre.
Would you guys be interested in just having a happy medium and just splitting it up evenly between everybody?
I think that there was some thought that was given to dividing it in this fashion, and
I think that's how all the others are done, too. We started with
yeah, John
customers.
said it was according to the benefits to the area. I think that Mr. Boone has a
Right.
disagreement about the benefits, and
Well,
I
no,
think
it's
that
the definition of the benefit.
well,
That's
you
what
know,
the-
I appreciate that. So where do we go from here?
I'm just
Can
trying
they,
to figure.
Jerry, can they go equal and raise some and lower some on what was sent out in the notices?
I don't think I'm going to reconstruct.
Yes, we could modify it here at the hearing.
So if we went 25 and 250, it would raise Brighton's and lower Wellington.
Right. That sounds
Anybody
like-
else? There's another gentleman who wanted to comment, I believe.
Hi, I'm Dan Butler. I'm one of the landowners that own the property on the west side of the road. I own the bulk of the property that they're talking about. And the benefit that I get, I don't see that they get because I don't connect to that ditch. And it's just the watershed that drains over that way. So I have no direct connect to that. So anything that's in there is just a filtered water that goes down that way. So I disagree with changing it. I like it the way it is, unless somebody wants to connect that ditch across there and bring it up to my property. I own the land up behind the houses that are on Quarry Road.
So you're saying you don't have, your water runoff doesn't go, it just soaks in?
It's,
or-
the watershed is towards Quarry Road, but I own 30 acres behind those areas. I'm being assessed for that. But I have no connect, any kind of ditch running up to my property, and I'm being assessed for this also.
There's an open ditch that comes up to Quarry, a culvert under the road, a pipe under the road, and then there's no ditch on the west side. Everything's overland flow or tile or roadside ditch. So
But without that, would your property flood?
Well, it's a floodplain back there as it is, but
Oh, is it?
it's just filters, back towards Quarry Road. There's no drainage ditch going up into there.
Anybody else have a comment?
If,
Step
he
forward,
thinks
please.
Mr. Butler really thinks his property does drain through that.
Please come up to the podium.
This is Mr. Boone again?
Boone.
If Mr. Butler thinks that his property doesn't drain through that tile tonight, I get home, I'll plug that culvert, and we'll find out tomorrow when it starts raining.
I don't think
where
you
that water
will.
goes and where it comes from, because it'll back up real quick like.
You don't want to do that.
I mean,
Your point is well taken, but I don't think you'll do that.
well, it could be done easy enough.
It could be, but I think that you'd be in trouble.
Shouldn't have said nothing, then you could have done it.
I've been there for over 30 years, and I've went through this time and time again, and the people that owned the property back in the 70s, they fought me on it because they said nothing drained my way. Well, if that's the case, how's come they got a culvert there? If there's nothing draining our way, we shouldn't have to have a culvert there. I shouldn't have to have that ditch through my property. That ditch is about 5 foot deep, and it goes right through the center of my property. And let's just cover it in and forget about it then. Be a lot simpler.
For you.
Or come in and tile it.
I'm just trying to get to a point where it would be fair for all the residents in that area.
Well,
It
I do
sounds
too,
like
but
it would-
I don't think one side should pay one price and another side should pay another price.
Well, I agree. I think it should
Because
be
like
one
I say
price.
too, water's water, and it comes from someplace, and it's come down and inspect it, come down and look at it. The tile's running today, because I was there yesterday and looked at it. Coming from the west side.
Soil and Water have any comment to make about this?
I just think it should.
Would you come to the microphone, please?
one thing I might add, Mr. Butler doesn't disagree with his water coming that way, but he's just saying it gets there slower because it comes over land.
Right.
It's a judgment call based upon experience, and I think there is a difference in benefit, and I think those further away from the ditch, as Mr. Butler is, I think he does benefit less than than some, but he does definitely benefit, but I don't think he benefits as much as those that are right on the ditch. But that is a judgment call, you know. And
Do you
that's,
think the ditch is an asset if it runs through your property?
Sir, would you please come up to the mic?
All I want to know is, does he consider the ditch an asset through my property
Sir,
or a hindrance?
What is your name, please?
Tony Marley. I'm in Wellington Township. Now, if he thinks that ditch that goes through my property is an asset, which this gentleman seems to think because I can drain into it easier than they can, it's not true. We have to, unless they maintain it like they do, which they haven't done, if they're only going to cut it once a year, that's not enough. How often do you mow your lawn? You know, especially this year, we've been mowing, what, twice a week? So they're going to mow that ditch once a year? The thistles are this high already. And it's going to get worse. And the trees are growing again. They did a beautiful job of cleaning. There's no argument there. But if they're only going to mow it once a year, that's a waste of time. They got to do more than once a year.
John, you need
But
to...
I don't think the ditch is an asset.
Well, but it's there. I mean, I don't know.
It's there. I understand that.
We can't move it.
We can't move it, but everybody that benefits from it should pay. That's all I can
Well, it
say.
should pay the same amount, correct?
Well,
Yes,
that's
sir.
a judgment call. I think I heard Soil and Water say that, and I think I've heard Mr. Hamilton express that. Now, John, what about the maintenance? I mean, you know, we've not had maintenance. Have we had maintenance on? This is a new project.
New project,
It's a new
right.
cleaning. The county spent $19,900, almost $20,000 to clean this ditch.
Right.
Okay.
We're only collecting $700 a year, so we can't maintain it like a front yard. We'll mow it a couple times a year. If it needs to be dipped out, we can dip it out and put some rock in there, but, you know, for that kind of money, we can't, I mean, you can't maintain it like a yard.
And maintenance,
And it's-
it does not necessarily just include mowing. What are you talking about, dipping it out? I mean...
Taking the backhoe in there and actually taking the
Yes,
silt
so
out.
in other words,
is
to
it-
clean it out if it needs further cleaning.
Right. If a spot starts to erode, you can put some rock channel in there, and that stuff's pretty expensive. You know,
Okay. And again, perhaps some of these people were not here when I made the statement. I'd like to say it again. It was about 3 years ago when the county allocated $500,000 to soil and water conservation to clean some of these ditches in the county that we've been told have not been cleaned for a long time, or as Mr. Boone pointed out, he did it himself in 1970. And Soil and Water Board went through several hearings, and they developed a plan so that they would clean these various ditches, but they felt that it was important that we include this maintenance piece for down the road, rather than just leaving it go again and not having any small fund build up. So, I mean, that's how we got to where we are today. So I think it's been a very worthwhile project, and I think that we've cleaned a lot of ditches, and the Soil and Water has quite a presentation that they make on the ditches that were clean. But this is an ingredient that they asked to be included, and I support that ingredient. So I don't know what you want to do.
Well, I
see you have your calculator out.
Well, I'm trying to see, making sure, if everyone goes $250 each, I want to see what the difference is, that's all. It's not...
Well, it'll be some, and more for some and less for others. That's
Yeah,
the
no, but-
difference.
Well, I'm just using, I don't want to use people as examples though, but some people swing $10 one way, some people, basically the residents swing up 5 and the Wellington people go down 5. Some people, depending on the size of the lots, might go up 50 cents, like this one here. So it just depends on, I've had to figure out how you did your actual benefit here. I don't know how you did that, but I'm not going to ask. But the
That's
bottom line is,
acres benefited in the watershed.
yeah, that's what you had to calculate, correct?
Yeah, it's on our maps.
Okay, which is fine. I don't want to go into that discussion. I think the discussion is really simple, which is, you know, are we going to go with two prices, $3, $2, or we're going to go for a happy medium, which is $2.50, and everyone pays the same?
But this is the method that they have used with all the previous ones and will continue to use for the others. Are you going to start?
No, let me take a look
set
here,
precedent?
because, let's see, this is the only one I see right now that is, out of the 6 we're having today, this is the only one that has 2 different prices on it for the same ditch.
We have one other one that we're working on that's similar.
I'm just saying today we're talking about,
They're all-
we
they're
got
all
6
equal.
public hearings, they're all equal except one.
Right.
So, that's all I'm saying, so. I'd support a,
You're saying they're equal in dollar amount, but I've heard two of our people tell us that they did this for benefit to the acre, and it was a judgment call, but it was
Yeah.
based on their judgment.
correct. Which is subjective, and we have the ability to make it fair. It's the one, we're all talking about one ditch here, so it sounds like to me everyone's benefiting from it.
But then I would say that they would have to change our method in the future, because if you've got future ones coming up, you're stirring a precedence here.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, make it fair for everybody in the future.
But is it fair according to the usage, the amount of
That
water
sounds
or
like that's
whatever?
very subjective, isn't it? It's pretty much what you guys kind of figure and what you think is,
Yeah, I guess it's how you look at it. Is
Yeah.
you know, I'd look at the ditch as a drainage benefit, but I can see where it's a hindrance to somebody if it's through their backyard,
yeah.
where they have to maintain
Trust
it.
me, I've lived in a drainage ditch and had it flooded.
Well, how did you get to that drainage ditch? Was it there first, or
It
were
was
you
there-
there first?
well, everything was there before I was there.
Well, oh yeah, because you're so young.
I'm glad I didn't.
It is more expensive for somebody like Mr. Butler to get his water to the outlet. That's what we were looking at. For them to get their water to the outlets direct. For Mr. Butler to get it there, he's got to do quite a bit of work on his property to get it out.
Yeah, but then you can look at it's more expensive to maintain that ditch himself, so.
That's true.
I mean, you
There's pros
can-
and cons.
I know, it's just, I don't know, I just think I'm just trying to find a happy medium here, and whether there is one, there probably isn't. There probably isn't a happy medium on this one. I'm just trying to find one.
Okay, what's the desire, board?
My desire is to go 250, if that number works. Do you know if that works?
Yeah, it would just we'd come up with the same total. We just
Right, that's what I was trying to figure out, make sure it had the same total. That would be that's my preference, but I'm just one of three. It's up to you guys,
Commissioner Blair?
It's up to you what you want to do.
Did you make a motion?
I'll tell you what, I'll make a motion to, how do I have to read this thing? The the Miller Ditch to make the benefited acres $2.50 for all 17 property owners. That's the amendment to the resolution for this public hearing. I'll let you figure out how to type.
10
That's the
acres or
motion.
less is going to be 25 then?
What's that?
10 acres or less going to be 25 too then? We have 30 and 20 right now.
Yeah, I just want to go whatever fair across the board, which is $2.50. Everyone pays the same.
Oh, what about the 30 and the 20, you say?
Everything's the I'm
Leave that?
yeah. If it doesn't mess up your butt, does that
20.
mess it up?
Well, to make it even, you'd want 25
Right.
for that, right?
Right.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was in the resolution.
Okay, 10 acres or less at $25 for Wellington and $25 for Brighton. And 10 acres or greater at a cost of $2.50 and $2.50. How's that? Does that make sense? Okay. I made a motion, if you can figure that one out.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay.
Further discussion? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Nay.
John, just remember this for all the others. So
Yeah,
that
we've
we
got
do them
one
all
of them we're working
equally.
on, we'll have to keep that in mind on a similar situation.
Okay, Madam Clerk, next.
Coal
Coal
Ditch, Pittsfield Township. In accordance with Section 6131.63 of the ORC, notice is hereby given for a public hearing to consider placing this ditch in Lorain County on permanent county maintenance. This ditch has been completed by Lorain County Engineer and Lorain Soil and Water Conservation District, and part of the agreement with the property owners was that this ditch be placed in county maintenance after construction. The Board of Commissioners, by resolution number 03391, adopted May 22, 2003, instructed the clerk to schedule the public hearing on Thursday, June 26, to consider placing this ditch in Lorain County on permanent county maintenance. This publication of the ditch hearing was published in the Chronicle Telegram on June 18, 2003, and letters were sent to property owners on June 10, 2003. Coal Ditch, Pittsfield Township, with a total construction of $52,540.95. 11 property owners are affected with 10 acres or less at $30, and 10 acres or greater with $3 per acre benefited.
Okay, anyone wishing to speak in regards to this project, please stand to be sworn in.
Raise your right hand. Do each of you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, that you shall answer under God or under the penalty of the law of perjury?
Okay, Mr. Hamilton.
The coal ditch in Pittsfield Township runs roughly from Hughes Road up to the intersection of West and 303. It was one that was surveyed, designed, and inspected by Soil Conservation Service. They had a call over there regarding the assessment for buckholz, and they made a correction on the acre benefited on that one down to from 32.09 down to 12.8 for a $38.40 assessment on that. We'll get your revised list, but that's Ted went out in the field and met with Mr. Buckholz and checked it out and came up with it. I guess he called their office. Other than that, I guess we'll just open it for comments or questions.
How you doing? My name's Joe Chappell.
I'm sorry, what was your name, sir?
Joe Chappell, and I live at 17814 West Road. And the ditch, the entire distance of what was cleaned there, has water standing in it, and none of the ditch is graded to the ditch. It's all graded away from the ditch. And I don't want to pay a maintenance on that.
Your name again is Joel?
Chappell.
Chapel? Okay. Are you affected by this?
17814 West Road.
17. What's your address again?
17814.
Did you get a letter? Get a letter.
We don't have you on our list.
It's under Georgianne Watson.
What's that?
Under Watson.
Oh, okay.
Georgianne, okay.
Look at that, 127 here. Okay.
John?
Joe.
I'm sorry, I wanted Mr. Hamilton to respond to your comments.
Ted, could you address that?
What's that in here? Is issue coach? What is issue?
He requires a dream. Not paying a great deal of attention.
I thought this was...
My name's Bob Handy from the Soil Conservation Office. I brought a map up. Where's your property? You have the Weston property? Did I hear that right?
This.
Well, the ditch is right on the...
Right on the property line, just across the back.
But all your property flows there.
No, all this whole ditch, all that where they graded it out, your ditch is here, is all graded away. It's not graded to, the surface isn't graded to the ditch. The surface is graded away from the ditch. This entire ditch holds water. It holds more water now than it had before. I mean, I didn't look at it today, but yesterday I had water standing in the whole thing.
Okay, what was it?
None of the surface water can get in because the dirt they took out of here, now the dirt they left here, I'm using up here. But all that, they spread that dirt on a 30-foot area there.
Okay.
So everything that came out of here went here. Now everything from here goes back. It doesn't drain the surface at all.
Oh, we left openings for the water to go in.
So where there's not an opening, it's wetter now than it was before.
Well, there might be a few errors here, but...
But the entire ditch has water. The entire ditch has a lot more water now than it had before. Especially down here at the end where this water goes to here and it can't go out past here. Now they just did this where is...
No, right here, 303.
303, yeah. Okay, they just did this short section here.
Yeah.
But that's holding a lot of water now.
Yeah.
And all this up through here had water in it.
Well, it's a very flat grade. It's like a 1/10 per 100 on it. So there may be water there in the ditch.
But I mean, you know, we're talking a lot of water. More water, more water than what was ever there before. Is standing in the ditch. It's all got moss growing on top of it.
There is some water, I'll agree with that, but there's...